Welcome back to Elizabeth Plants. I'm Elizabeth, and today we're going to be doing the hashtag Get to Know You Challenge. So I was challenged by Morgan's Houseplants to do the Get to Know You Challenge. It's a series of questions to help you get to know me. Some of these things you may or may not already know. While I do this, I have two plants that I kind of want to check on the root system and probably replant. So that's kind of the plan. I'm going to really be focusing on the questions though, because I am out of LECA and most of the plant chores I need to do in the repotting that I would like to do is LECA. But first, this video is sponsored again by Louisa. I absolutely love their jewelry. Have had such a good experience with their jewelry, and they have now sponsored us several times, so you might be familiar already. However, currently they are doing their biggest sale of the year. It is their holiday sale. So currently they are offering buy one, get one 40% off, both US and internationally. However, for US orders, you also get a free travel size bag for orders of over $150. It's a really great sale. A lot of beautiful pieces are on sale and they're going quickly. So like usual, they gave me 3 pieces, but I want to talk about the brand and then talk about the pieces real quick. So you're a little bit familiar with the brand already, but they are 100% carbon neutral. They're super sustainable and I absolutely love them. And they are super affordable with pieces as cheap as $39, or they can go upwards in price. With their sale currently and all of their beautiful products, it is great for, a treat for yourself or to gift to a loved one. You're already familiar with this collaboration, but I do it even though they aren't houseplants because I love the carbon neutral sustainable mission. I think it really matches up with what a lot of people who keep plants in their home really enjoy, like participate in, support, etc. So I think that that's really beautiful. So currently I am wearing 2 of the 3 pieces that they gave me this time. And I actually don't have my computer with me today, so I usually look up the product and tell you the name. So instead of me telling you the name of the product, it will be on screen with the price. But first is these little huggy earrings. They are really beautiful. I've had these products, I just haven't had a moment to sit down and film for over a week now, and I have worn these since the day they arrived nonstop. They're in my 3rd hole from the bottom, whatever that'd be called. And I absolutely love them. They're super adorable. I really like the way it looks. They're super comfortable. My ears are not irritated. I don't have really sensitive ears, but if I have sensitivity, it's going to be in this hole that these are in. So that's really cool. And I love, again, the little sun on them. The past I've gotten pieces that have suns on them simply because I just really love it. I think it's beautiful. So the next piece is this pendant necklace right here, but I picked this one because it's got the mountain and what is kind of like a sunset, sunrise appearance on it. And I just really like that visual. I like that, the vibe of that. I really enjoy the length of these particular necklaces. This isn't the first one of this style or length that I've gotten. And so I just really liked the visual as well as the piece of jewelry itself. And the 3rd piece is actually something I'm gifting to a family member. They don't watch my videos, so I'm not super worried about this. But I'm gifting this to a family member. And so it is still in the original packaging, in the sleeve that it comes in, and it's still on the piece of paper. So you guys actually get to see this, which is not something I have shown in the past. So I'll show a better close-up. But this is that, and the chain is all up in it. It's very similar to this, but the pendant has a different design. So it's kind of got like angel wings on it, and it's kind of, it's really simple jewelry, and I think my loved one will really enjoy that. So that's Louisa, a sponsor of today's video. So with that being said, let's get into the challenge. I've got my questions down here on a piece of paper, and then I'm also going to get into the plants while we're doing it. So again, this is the Get to Know You Challenge. I was tagged by Morgan's Plants, but the creator of this tag is Murigen. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not familiar with the channel, but nonetheless, I was tagged and I thought it would be a great way to kind of get to know some of my newer subscribers or maybe answer some questions my old subscribers don't know. So there are 11 questions, so we're going to get right into it. First is not really a question, just introduce yourself. I'm Elizabeth from Elizabeth Plants. I also have a channel called Elizabeth Journals. I'm less interactive on that channel. It is a Plan With Me channel for bullet journals, if you're familiar with that. I recently obtained my graduate degree in clinical mental health counseling and will be licensed soon and working as a full-time mental health counselor very soon. I enjoy plants. I mean, what you guys see is my hobby. What you guys see is what I do for fun. Some other things, I've got 2 cats. Again, you know that I'm actually a dog person, but my boyfriend loves cats and we rescued these 2 little ones. So next, let's just get into the questions. But before, I want to talk about the first plant. So we've got my Thai sunrise here. I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about it. It's dropped quite a few leaves from the bottom and the top recently. So I'm going to pull it out of the soil, look at the roots, assess, and then possibly pot it into a different pot depending on what's going on with the roots. So the first question is, what hobbies do you have besides plants? So really, plants are my biggest hobby, if you will, but really most of my hobbies have kind of turned into businesses, because technically YouTube is a job. I don't do it full time as a job. Many people do. And my other hobby is bullet journaling. So if you're not familiar with that, I will have a link to my other channel down below, as well as my bullet journaling blog down below. So those are kind of some hobbies that are technically businesses now. Also, I used to paint. You know, I don't paint anymore, but I used to paint. I play a little bit of video games, nothing like crazy. I wouldn't consider myself a gamer, but my boyfriend really likes video games, and I'm not very good at video games. I actually have really poor finger joints, so I play, lower key, easier games, but I do enjoy doing that in my free time. I don't know if it could be considered a hobby or not, but I like doing it. So first, I notice all of these roots. I'm probably going to have to break some of these. I don't know that I'm going to be able to just pull them through. So maybe that's part of the problem. They need a bigger pot possibly. All right, while I kind of am over here kind of dumping the dirt out into the trash, do I have any dependents, i.e. pets or children? I do not have any children. I don't have any plans to have children anytime soon, so that likely will not change anytime soon. However, I do have pets. I think I need to take the moss pole off. I hope no roots have gone into it. So I have 3 pets. As you guys are familiar, I have the 2 orange tabby rescue cats, Simba and Raja. I'll insert some photos, but you guys have seen him on the camera before. And I also have a bearded dragon. If I have any recent photos of him, I'll put them in, but I don't show him simply because the beardy community can be pretty toxic, and for my mental health, I do not share him on social media or on the internet. I share him with my loved ones, with my vet. I mean, he may pop up occasionally, but for the sake of my mental health, I do not. His name is Fella. He is coming up on 2 years. He is not my first bearded dragon. He is just my current bearded dragon. But I think he's coming up on 2 or 3 years old. I think 2. Yeah, I think 2. So next question. Why plants? What is your plant origin story? So I've told this story before on the channel, so I'll just give like a brief. It was in another challenge before, so you can go to my challenges playlist and see if you can't find that if you're curious enough. But essentially, I was away at college, undergrad, and I wanted something to take care of. My dog was at home with my parents. I couldn't have pets, and I didn't want to fish. So I asked my parents to get me a plant for Christmas. I grew up, my mom had ivies. She was very good at keeping ivies alive. If you know anything about me, I can't. And I can't figure out why. And I have asked my mom how. I'm doing exactly what she did. I don't know. But they got me a Scindapsus pictus for Christmas, and I still have that plant. It's not doing too hot. It's in the greenhouse. But that was my first plant, and then I actually just had that plant for a long time until I slowly started growing my collection. But that is my origin story, and it was simply to have something to take care of, and then became an addiction slash obsession slash hobby. Okay, I was able to pull some of the roots through, but we did have a little bit of a casualty. So what I'm actually doing is, I'm out of leca. I would like to put this guy in leca eventually, but I'm out of leca, so I'm going to save this pot for a plant that will be going in leca, just because the self-watering is really easy with leca. Instead, I will be potting this guy up into something else. So the pot I grabbed is actually probably too big. This is too big. This is what I've got. I think he'll be okay. Yeah, I think he'll be okay. If I pot him up in here. So why did I start my YouTube channel about plants? So I had started the bullet journaling channel maybe a year, 6 months-ish before I started the plant channel. And I was doing it just to show off my creations, kind of plan with me flip through style, if you're at all familiar with that world. And I really enjoyed plants. Like, I was a collector of plants. I watched plant tubers. At that point in time, I really primarily watched Kaylee Ellen and Harley G. And I kind of didn't really think that, like, I was up for... I just spilled my drink. So I wasn't unfamiliar with YouTube, and I was becoming familiar with the houseplant YouTube community, and I was kind of like, well, you know, I could do that. Like, I really could. Like, I could just give it a try, filming an unboxing or something like that, something really easy where I don't have to, like, be an entertainer. I'm not a presentation kind of a gal. Lots of presentation anxiety. But I thought it could be neat, and if it down the road became, you know, monetary, that would be cool, because I could essentially pay for my hobby with my hobby. Especially because houseplants get kind of expensive. So my thought was like, yeah, I could probably do that. We'll see if I like it, test out the waters. I really was inspired by Harley G specifically because she's, from, you know, what I watch of her, I don't know her personally, but she was pretty down to earth. I related to her in many ways. She was imperfect, and so that kind of told me, like, hey, you don't have to be like a perfect entertainer. You don't have to know everything about houseplants. You can just be a hobbyist showing off your plants and engaging with the community, and that's okay. And that's kind of what gave me the push to get started. So thanks, Harley G. If you happen to be watching this, you inspired Elizabeth Plants. So I'm going to tie it back up to the pole before I add dirt, simply because it keeps knocking stuff over. I stuck the moss hole back into the hole it was already in, and I'm pretty much just going to tie it up how it was before. I don't want to disrupt it too much. So next question. So my first video, it says just to talk a little bit about my first video. I believe my first video was an unboxing. I don't remember very clearly. It was either an unboxing or it was my repotting of my Peace Lily Sensation. But I'm not, again, 100% sure. I don't really remember. But a lot of my first videos were repottings and unboxings from when I first moved into this apartment, because I had I was, you know, repotting stuff to adjust to the new space. I was doing a lot of plant care stuff. I had come to this apartment with nearly 100 plants, maybe even 100 plants, and so we had some adjusting to do. So that's kind of the kickstart of my first video. I stuck with that kind of videos for quite a long time, and it's still my primary content, But originally I started it that way simply because that was low pressure content, and like I said before, I really wasn't sure if I wanted to do it or if I was even a good entertainer. And so that was low pressure, made it easier to get started that way. My favorite part about having and keeping plants is not the maintenance. It was until I had cats, and now the maintenance has doubled because they knock things over and kill my plants. And I feel like I'm doing a lot more rehabbing and a lot more cleanup than I ever did before cats. But I do like generally enjoy repotting and like watching things grow. I think the success stories are what keep me doing it. What makes it enjoyable for me is that like I'm able to see a plant from 5 leaves to 20. Like my Salome, I just filmed a video, but it's probably going to be going up either after or before this one, where I am transferring it to Leka. But that is my huge plant, and I got it as a rescue plant. Like, that's such a cool story to me. I got it, it was sick, overwatered, all of its roots were rotted. I had already killed another one previously, and so I didn't actually expect it to live, let alone thrive. And so like that kind of stuff is just really exciting and fun to me. I like watching things grow. I like that they can be low maintenance and that I don't have to be on my A game 100% of the time for a plant to succeed. For the most part, I can take a week off of houseplant care if I need to, if I start getting overwhelmed, if other parts of my life become too busy, because that happens to me all the time. So I really love that. This moss pole is like tall, so it's not easily stabilized. I know you guys can't even see what I'm doing because I'm trying not to block my face, but like I said, this video is more focused on the questions and less focused on planty potting, if you will. This one's pretty much done though. The roots were healthy. I was a little bit worried about root rot, but the roots, I mean, they looked really good. I think maybe just the bottom roots needed some soil. Possibly it needs a little bit more water than it was getting as well, because the soil was pretty dry for the most part. So hopefully it will thrive in this pot with this new soil instead. But that is my Thai constellation. Fingers crossed we don't lose any more leaves. All right, my next plant is this guy. Again, a similar situation. I'm not 100% sure what he is. I was told not a Xanadu, despite that's what it looks like. But we've lost a ton of leaves and we're putting out small growth, and it could be because it's winter. And it's getting a little bit cooler in here now that I don't have Fella, my bearded dragon, in this room. But I'm going to repot it. I expect there to be some sort of root rot or something wrong with the roots. So I'm going to probably have to put it in a smaller pot. I'm not putting it back in this pot. I'm expecting there to be something wrong, essentially, is what I'm getting at. So we're going to figure that out. But next question. What is my favorite genus currently? I have a love-hate relationship with this question. Oh. Try to make as little of a mess as possible. But this root system is actually phenomenal. It's a really fantastic root system. I wonder if it'll even fit in the pot that I had planned for it. Do I need to get a larger pot? But I have a love-hate relationship with this question because there are multiple. And I hate having to pick one, so I'm not going to pick one. I love palms. Palms are, I mean, they've been one of my go-tos for a long time. I really love alocasia. You guys are not strangers to that concept. I absolutely love my elephant ears, even though they're difficult and kind of a pain in the butt sometimes. I also really love philodendron and aroids. I'm newer to anthurium, but definitely philodendron, syngonium. I really love my aroids. So, long answer that was not meant to be so long. I don't have a favorite. I don't pick favorites from my top few. Those are my top few. And that's the best you're getting. So I'm actually just gonna kind of shove it into this. I mean, it's probably a fine size pot. It doesn't have a ton of room to grow, but it's winter. I just want it to work on its roots, on its health. So I'm not too concerned about that. How good is my space/house for plants? My space/house is very good. My lifestyle is not. And what I mean by lifestyle is my cats. You guys are not unfamiliar with this part of my plant journey. My house is very bright light. I have floor-to-ceiling windows. I live on a corner, so my floor-to-ceiling windows are on two sides of my apartment, so it's very good. It gets pretty warm in here from that sunlight. So, for the most part, it stays pretty warm. I have a very good living environment for plants. However, the part that is not good for my plants is the humidity. It is very dry in here. Very, very dry in here. Summer is not as bad, but it is still, I mean, I sit without any humidifiers, max 45%, max. And it feels dry because I can't open windows. I don't get any natural humidity. So any humidity is something that I create in here. So that kind of sucks. And it also, the AC and heat units blow like hard. They have no chill. So that's kind of a con of my living situation as well. So it's good and it's bad. My plants do okay for the most part. How do my housemates respond to all of my plants? So my housemates are my pets and my boyfriend. My plants came before my boyfriend. So, simply put, he knew what he was getting into. Now, we have made agreements, obviously, like, it's not my way or the highway simply because the plants came first. But he can't be surprised that the plants exist because I had, upwards of 100, before our first date. And he knew that on our first date. That is not something, I'm not a shy dater. Like, I'm going to tell you like it is and you're going to be okay with that or not. And if you're not, date one doesn't turn into date two and that's fine. If you are, let's give it a shot. So he knew, like I set my things very clearly to him at the beginning. He really doesn't mind them so long as they aren't in his space, and that's fine. Our agreement is that he has his spaces that are plant-free, and they are. They are plant-free. Most of the plants are in this room. I try my best to keep our shared spaces decluttered, or to have plants that he has mentioned he enjoys looking at. So a lot of the plants in our shared space are either there because I don't care if the cats kill them per se. I mean, I do care, but in comparison to the other plants, because they look nice in the space, or because my boyfriend has said, hey, that one's kind of neat. And I remember that because I'm a detail-oriented human, and I put that plant out there. The rest are all in here, and he doesn't mind. He comes in here and he goes, it's so cluttered, but like, he doesn't care because this isn't his space, if that makes sense. My cats love the dirt, so there's that. Fella, the bearded dragon, doesn't care. He doesn't give a rat's. So this guy's potted up. I'm gonna run some water through there to make sure that the roots all have soil. I tried my best to shake it so that they do, but there's a lot of roots in there. They're really healthy, so I'm really happy about that. These guys are just gonna get a watering, both the two that I repotted, stuck back in their spots, and then hopefully we'll have some more luck. There is a slow release fertilizer in this soil, so just a little bit because it's winter, but if it's fertilizing, then, and I don't think it is, then there's that. I didn't see any pests in the process. I have checked these two for pests over before this video. So those are just the two plants that I had ready to pot, but I've got, I believe, a question left. got one more question, so I'm going to do that and then we'll close out. But what are you looking forward to most as a plant parent? There are a couple of things. Mostly, I'm looking forward to my plants growing. So I've got a couple of plants or plant projects, if you will, and I look forward to seeing them get, larger or adjusting or growing or, whatever it is my goal is for a particular plant. For example, I've got a long box with a whole bunch of pothos, scindapsus. I think there's a couple of, it's just a bunch of different trailing plant cuttings that I just popped in there, kind of very disheveled on purpose. And my goal is to make it a curtain. And that's going to take a long time because they're small cuttings. But just since I've started it probably 6 months ago, I've lost a ton of those cuttings because they're small. So they require a lot of water, which I don't really get because I forget about them often. However, it's so lush despite my neglect of it. And some of them are starting to trail. And so that's really exciting. So I look forward to just watching that grow. I look forward to watching a lot of my plants grow. That's just one example. My Florida Ghost, I've chopped and propped, and I look forward to seeing where it goes from there. And, just etc. With a lot of my plants. That's what I look forward to, is watching them grow and change. And I like potting. I've recently learned that I like potting different plants together with similar care needs, and that's something that I would have been like, no, I'm not doing that because I have to collect them all like they are Pokemon in my past. But I've really kind of grown and changed in that way. So that's kind of what I am looking forward to most. Thank you again, Morgan's Houseplants. I'll link her down below in the description for challenging me. And I'm kind of late to the party. It took me a long time to get around to this video. So I don't know who has or who has not already been tagged. So I'm just going to tag anybody watching who wants to do this challenge. I think it's a great way to, these question challenges are a great way to check in with your audience. Just, get to know them while not having to come up with a random topic out of your butt. And also stick with the houseplanty content. So doing a repotting while you do it or whatever. I really like these challenges, and I think this one was a really good one. So if you want to do it, go for it. You have my tag. But yeah, again, I just want to remind you that this video was sponsored by Louisa Jewelry. You can get buy one 40% off worldwide, plus a little travel bag. If you're in the US, spend over $150. Again, I love all of the time. If I'm wearing jewelry, it is Louisa, or it's my starter earrings that the piercer stuck in my ear, way back when. So that's they're great, and they're having their biggest sale right now. Again, go check them out. Links are in the description down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more houseplanty content, subscribe. See you next time.